Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've been spending the last few days trying to rebrand my channel, so there are a few changes that you might see, and I'm going to try and stick to this intro and outro and the new brand of my channel, as I know I've changed it up a few times. So I hope you guys like it. Let me know in the comments if you do. In today's video, I am going to be trying a new concept of video that I've never done before. It's not a brand new concept of video, but I'm going to be testing a foundation and concealer that I've never tried before. These products are not brand new, and I've heard so many people rave about them, and I'm surprised I've never tried them before. And I know the brand have recently changed up the packaging, and I believe the formula, so I thought I'm going to give it a test, let you guys know how I feel about them. So the products that I am talking about are the Collection Lasting Perfection Foundation and Concealer. These products claim to be 16-hour wear. I'm going to try and keep this product on for as long as possible today, and just to try and see if it meets its claim of 16-hour wear. So I wanted to see if the foundation specifically is a dupe for any other foundation on the market. After doing my research, I believe it's a dupe for the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, which retails for £34, which to me is quite expensive for a foundation. But when you have products like these, which are just over £6 in Superdrug, it's worth testing to see if it's just as good as the Double Wear. So this is a 6-in-1 foundation, and it claims to prime, conceal, covers, smooth, protects and mattifies. It is a full coverage foundation, and it claims to be water resistant, transfer proof and does not clog pores. So it claims to do lots of things, as well as the 16-hour wear. So we're going to test all those things today. I personally have quite oily skin, so this is quite a good foundation and concealer to test as well. Looking at the Estee Lauder website as well, it claims to do pretty much the same as the Lasting Perfection, and the only difference is it's medium to buildable coverage. We're going to test everything now and see how it goes. I have to say, one thing I really like about both of these products is the fact that they feel expensive, especially the foundation. It's like a frosted glass, which just gives it a really expensive look, and also the gold on any makeup products makes products look expensive. I think the brand has done really well to make these look expensive, especially when both of these together are just over £10. So before applying my foundation, I've just done my normal daily skincare routine, cleaned my face off and popped some day cream on. I've let that sit a little bit to just give the foundation and concealer a fair chance. And I'm going to be applying both products using my damp beauty blender. So just about to apply the foundation, I went for the shade Fair, which is number 5. And I have to say their shade range was really good, especially for lighter skin tones like me. I always really struggle to find the right foundation shade, so I was really impressed. I'm just popping a small pump onto my hand for now, and just see how far that small pump goes. I need a mirror. Didn't really think about that, did I? I've also been suffering with a lot of breakouts recently as well. So this is probably a good time to actually test a full coverage foundation. I think this is a good match. When you put a foundation on your hand, it just doesn't look like it's going to match your face at all. I think I've done really well. So I've done about half my face so far. I've done this side of my face. The small pump on my hand only covered probably from half my chin and my cheek. So I did have to do another pump, but I think so far it's actually looking really good. It's evened out my skin tone really well. It's a really good colour match as well. Yeah, it blends really well. I'm really impressed so far. It has gone onto my skin quite oily, but then again I have used a damp beauty blender to blend it, so maybe that's why. Now moving on to this side of my face where I have my blemishes. We'll see how well the foundation does there. So I'm having to go with a third pump now. So it's probably going to take about 3 pumps to cover my whole face, which is okay. But I know there's other foundations that I've used where I don't have to use that much to cover my full face. For me personally, I don't even apply a thick layer of foundation anyway. I do naturally as well have quite a red face, as I used to suffer with quite bad acne, and I do have a lot of scarring left over from that, and especially around my T-zone, around my cheeks, especially my nose as well is very red. So I think it's done really well to cover those areas. I'm such a sucker for a full coverage foundation, so I'm really pleased that this one's buildable. It's also quite nice if you just want a light coverage of foundation too, just for everyday wear. So that's my foundation completely on now. Overall, it took about 2.5 pumps, so I know for next time. And I did have to go in and just touch up my blemishes up here and just a few scars that I have, just to make the coverage completely even. But overall, very happy. It looks really, really good. It is quite oily still on my skin. I'm not too sure if that's from the beauty blender where it's damp. I'd need to try it when I have a dry beauty blender or even with a brush. But yeah, very happy. So moving on to the concealer now. Again, never tried the concealer. My favourite concealer, as you know, is the Revolution. So we'll see if this changes my mind. So I got this one, just a slightly lighter shade than the foundation. I got this in Ivory, number 3. Just I like to brighten up under my eyes and highlight areas of my face with the concealer as well. So I just apply a small amount underneath my eyes, on my nose, and then just on any blemishes that I have. I don't know why I've been breaking out so much over the last week or so. It's been really bad. Like, I'm just not... This is probably the first time I've worn makeup just to give my skin a chance to breathe. So I just don't get it. Right, that'll do for now, and if I need to put on any more, I will. This one feels like it's drying a lot quicker compared to my Revolution concealer. So it is a little bit harder to blend, but I don't know whether that's my fault and I should have just blended it out a bit quicker. I don't know if you can see that, it's just really struggling to like... It blends eventually, it just takes a bit of a beat into my skin really. So that's both the concealer and the foundation on now. The concealer, as you can see, is really full coverage. It's covered my blemishes really quite well up here. I did have to go in a second time with the concealer on my blemishes just to completely wipe them off my face, but apart from that, the concealer is really full coverage. I'm really impressed. Just still struggling with the oiliness of my face, but I'm just going to pop my usual Match Perfection Rimmel powder just to set the face. I'll do the rest of my makeup and then I will come back to give you, I guess, my overall opinion with my full face on. So that's my full face completely done now. Overall, I am really impressed with these 2 products. So the good points are, firstly, the shade range, really good. And I think that is so important when it comes to foundation and concealer, is to have a really good shade range. Secondly, it's definitely full coverage. Although it does take a few layers of foundation to be full coverage, that doesn't bother me considering the price. I'm really impressed with how well the bronzer and blusher applied to my skin. I had no problems blending that in at all. And I just think overall my face just looks completely flawless. Once I'd applied my loose powder, I was so impressed with how matte my face felt. And even though this foundation and concealer has been on for a good hour now, it still feels matte, and I just hope that continues throughout the day. So a couple of the downsides are the fact that it did apply really oily. However, the loose powder fixed that pretty much instantly. As you saw, the concealer did have a few problems when it came to blending into my spots. It did dry up really quickly, so you do have to blend it in pretty much instantly after application. It has started to sink into my smile lines a little bit, and my pores are starting to show a little bit around my nose, but I do tend to have that problem with a lot of other foundations anyway. I also do feel that the foundation feels really heavy on my face. It definitely feels like you have makeup on. So if you are looking for just an everyday light coverage, maybe this isn't quite the foundation, but you can just apply maybe like one thin layer and that might work better for you. Again, the problem is with having a really heavy foundation is it can cause breakouts. Overall, I think considering the price of this product and how well it performed, it's definitely worth picking up. Even though it had a few downsides, every makeup product does anyway. So I'm going to go about my day now. I'm going to check in every few hours to let you know how the foundation's sitting, whether I've needed a powder or not, and whether it's compatible with my oily skin. And I also want to see if it lives up to its claim of 16-hour wear. So it's hour 4 of me wearing this foundation now. I haven't done much, I've just been sat editing and doing my thumbnail for this video. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, all around my nose and on my chin has started to become really greasy now and really oily. And as I said, I haven't been doing much, but especially my chin is the area that I find foundation starts to slip off. And it did say on the foundation it's supposed to not budge throughout the day, so that's one downside that has come from this experiment. But I'm just going to powder now and I'll catch up with you later. I've just powdered and that looks a whole lot better, but I have to say, apart from those two areas, the rest of my face is still matte. So I've had my makeup on for around about 8 hours now. I'm about to go in for my second powder, but this lighting is actually really quite good for you to see how shiny my face is now, and my skin is really starting to feel oily, especially on my T-zone and again on my chin. I don't know if you can notice as well, underneath my eye the concealer is starting to sink into my lines and also has come away from my blemish here as well. So I've never really had that from a concealer before. I wanted to mention as well, earlier on, my mum did say to me, without me prompting her or telling her that I was testing a new foundation or concealer, she said to me how good my skin looked, so that's good. One thing I have noticed actually while doing this test is that the coverage is still very even all across my face. Normally with other foundations, it really starts to slip off my skin and my cheeks, whereas it really hasn't budged that much. I mean, it has a little bit on my chin where I've got oily and around my nose, but apart from that, it's a really, really even coverage still. I'm really impressed with that. So I'm approaching hour 12 now, and I will admit I have just had a bath, which probably didn't help my foundation, but I kept it all on, and it is extremely oily now, very, very oily. I'm not going to powder again. I think I'm going to take it off, and it did a good 12 hours, but it's at a push. I don't think I could wear this foundation and concealer for work, especially if I'm doing long duties. I don't know if you're able to see now, my pores are very visible all around my nose. The product is gone. My chin's oily. It's come away from my blemishes again. So yeah, I think this foundation could probably do a good 8 hours. Any more, it's gonna struggle, especially if you have oily skin like me. One real test that the products did have is, because I'm a glasses wearer and I have to wear my glasses for most of the day, I wanted to see if the product budged from the bridge of my nose. And as you can see, it did a little bit, which is a shame. In total, over the 12-hour period, I did have to powder about 3 to 4 times. So if you are going to be wearing these products out for a full day, then maybe take some loose powder with you just so you can touch up throughout the day. So I think I can conclude that 16-hour wear is not exactly correct. I think 8 hours more so, especially considering I didn't do anything today. But I think my opinion still stays. I really like these two products. They're really good value for money. And if you're looking for a good full coverage foundation and concealer that's cheap, definitely go and grab these two. So that's all for today's video. I don't know about you guys, but I love to watch people review products before I go out and buy them. So I really hope you guys found this video useful. Let me know in the comments whether you've tested these two products out and how you feel about them. Go and follow all of my social medias. I'm going to pop them on the screen now for you. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.